Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. I got a whole lot of work to do. We're putting in some in the woods food plots today. You can see behind me I'm up in the woods, but I'm just gonna bring you along with me. I'm gonna talk about what I'm doing, some of the tools I'm using, and then I'm gonna zip my yapper because I got lots of work to get done today. But we're up on this property that we got permission to hunt, and we're gonna plant 4 different things here. We'll get into these here as we touch on them, but we got 4 different little jars down here. First, one of the biggest questions is when to plant. Right now we're doing a spring in the woods food plot. Let me kind of tell you how I think about it. You can read all you want to and talk to who you want to. It really depends on where you live, but here's my 2 things really. So you can see behind me there's some weeds starting to grow. This is today's like March 17th or something, middle of March here in Middle Tennessee. We're already having days in the 60s. This afternoon it's going to be in the 60s, and you can see there's no canopy in the trees yet. That green stuff, those are cedars. There's a big one right here. If you don't know what a cedar tree is, here's what the bark looks like. But those are evergreen, so you can't get rid of the evergreen canopy. But all the other trees, there's no canopy, so there's still sunlight getting to the ground, and we can see some of the weeds and ground greeneries coming up. That's when you need to plant, before there's a canopy, and when you see some other random stuff growing. That means whatever seed you're going to throw out there have a good chance of growing, because there's already some junk there. But so keep your eyeballs when stuff starts to grow on the ground and get it planted before the canopy comes in. Just like a motor needs air and gas, your plants need light and some dirt and some water. So that's actually why I'm out here and in a hurry today, because this evening we have a pretty decent rain coming in. So I want to get all this stuff in the ground, get that rain to jumpstart all the seeds we're putting out here. If there's a downpour coming, might not be the best time because it might wash away some of your seeds, but a good rain is a good thing to come right after your seeds. It's going to get them in the ground, start that germination, and keep some of the birds away. Some birds will eat some of the seeds you put out, depending on what kind of seed you're putting out, you know what I'm saying? But look for the green stuff on the ground and get it out there before the canopy. But if you still don't feel right about it or questions, go find an old timer farmer. That's what I did last fall. Was I talked to an old timer in town, said, hey, when's the best time for planting? And he told me 1st of September. So that's when we planted in this past fall. This fall we'll probably do a little bit earlier. But let me show you the tools I got out here today. Spreader. I actually went and just got this one brand new. Don't need a huge one because we're back here in the woods doing some somewhat smaller plots where we can't get equipment back. Now, bolt cutters. You might be saying, what in the devil you got bolt cutters? Well, let me show you why. So, like up here in this junk I was just showing you, so whatever these trash little trees are, they're going to grow out and have leaves. So this spot specifically right here, a lot of these smaller trees, you can just go right up to them, snip them off right at the ground, and that's going to give you more canopy area. Those come in key. You don't have to get the chainsaw out. I did bring the chainsaw in case I need it, but bolt cutters, cut all those trees down, and this whole area will be getting lots more light. Then I got a rake and some gloves, and what I'm gonna do is just go all through here, and I'm just gonna expose the dirt. I'm doing it with one hand here, but you see what I'm saying. That easy. Now we got the dirt. The seeds are going to have a lot higher percentage of germination. We throw them down in something like that, as opposed to just randomly throwing them out there in leaves and other junk and hoping it grows. That looks like a lot better place to plant some seeds. Ooh, that looks pretty. I like it. Than just throwing it out there and praying. But I'm going to get to it. I'm going to start clearing some of this out, and I'm going to bring you in along with me on some little tidbits of it. I'm excited. Well, and we got to talk about why in the devil would you want to put food plots out in the first place? Well, keep the deer and the turkeys around, man. You know what I'm saying? Do you want the turkeys on the neighbor's place or your place? Keep those critters on the place where you hunt year round. it's a year-round thing, but I'm excited. Let's get these seeds in the ground. I'm gonna start right here on this spot behind me. I'm gonna start clipping all these and then exposing the dirt. Check it out. All right, so here's the before right here. I'm gonna go through, clip all this junk with the bolt cutters and then rake it all. I'm gonna show you the before, and then right after I'll show you the after here. All right, now same spot. You can see I've cut out a bunch of those junk trees, raked up a ton of leaves over here, that and a few other piles, and we're improving our seed to soil contact. You can see now we've got all this pretty looking dirt here instead of just a bunch of trash trees and leaves everywhere. Now, by all means, if you have access to a tiller or a bobcat with a mulcher attachment or a tiller attachment, bring that sucker out there. Work smarter, not harder. But this is a back in the woods plot where we can't get that heavy machinery. I don't even have heavy machinery, but back in the woods, I'm gonna dig this up a little more, show you the seeds, and then I'm gonna do this same thing in 3 other spots. All right, so I actually just spent about another 30 minutes clearing this area. I said, phooey, we're putting in the work for the deer. Just cut down a bunch more of the small trash stuff. You can see you got a pretty good opening. Sun's coming in there. Now, let me show you what I'm gonna put in this spot. So definitely do your research and do your reading where you live and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. But this spot, I'm putting in this domain showstopper stuff. Planted this last fall. Y'all can freeze this or go to their website if you want to read about it. They've got a ton of information to help you pick your seed. But I planted this in the fall and it did fantastic last year. The deer absolutely loved it. But this has got some rutabaga, brassica, turnip, rapeseed. It grew really well here in the fall, and I'm going to try planting it here in the spring. I think it ought to do well. But we'll dump it in that little doohickey there, and we're going to spread some of it all around. Yeah, I know I'm going to use the whole thing, so I'm going to fill this baby to the top. And that worked out perfect. Those little cans, now we know, fit in one of those little size deals. But now, how these style work, it's got a trigger right here. These little seeds here, you don't need much of an opening, and then you're gonna crank the handle out. That's the cool thing about the backwoods plots. You don't have to be perfect, you know. Oh man, I was already squeezing the trigger too much. Check this out. Whoa! Pretty cool, huh? Now we got seeds all over the place, but I'm gonna walk around here, try to get it out as even as I can, and then pray for the rain to keep on coming tonight. And for this small of a seed, if you have one that is just like this, I'm almost kind of hitting the trigger, dumping some, and then throwing it, hitting the trigger, dumping some, and then throwing it. If you squeeze that trigger down or you have it open, you're gonna put way too much out. But I'm gonna put this whole bucket out all around here that I just cut trees down and raked. Then we're gonna move on. We got 3 more spots to do. All right, so I just did like an hour of prep for this spot right here in the woods and put it all out in like 2 minutes. But hey, the more time you put into it, the better you get that seed to soil contact. Hey, better chance you're gonna get more deers in here and you're gonna get that big old buck. And I'm excited about it. We think about whitetails year long. But I'm gonna get on to the next spot, get it all prepped, and then we'll throw the next seed out. I'm having fun. All right, so this spot behind me, we're still in the woods. I cleared out a bunch last fall, so I didn't have to do near as much work for this spot, but let me show you what we're doing here. Here, I'm putting in some bombshell. You can freeze it here and read the details more, but cabbage, collards, brassicas, turnips, there you go. You can also plant this in the fall, but this is an annual, and the deers are gonna love it. But this is what I'm putting in this spot right here. And same thing like before. I'm gonna walk around and throw the seed out. Again, pay attention to the size of your seed and how fast you're throwing it out. Alright, now I got all that out. On to the next one. Alright, next spot I'm doing is an old logging road. You can see there's some junk grain already coming up, but I'm just gonna run up and down and give it a light rake with my trusty rake there and throw some seeds out. Spot number 3. Alright, now for this logging road, I'm putting in this domain overhaul. Y'all can read more about this on their site, but putting this in on the logging road, it's got some buckwheat, triticale, crimson clover, balansa clover, and some radish. Some people call that triticale, some people call it triticale. My farmer buddy said the real way they call it triticale. But let's get this sucker filled up, and we're gonna walk this whole logging road and get the deer some goodies. I'm gonna take 2 trips here. Woo, I'm getting a workout today, but there's 3 out of 4 put out, and we got 1 more to go get ready and put out. Alright, so this last spot here, I actually tilled with a walk behind tiller last fall. Well, a lot of the dirt is actually still pretty soft and exposed. You can see there's some clover coming up there, and there's some pretty good light on the ground. This is at like 11:30 in the morning or so, so I don't have to worry about the canopy in this spot, and I'm honestly not going to rake it that much. There's some leaves down there, but it's probably 50% dirt on the ground. So here is what I'm going to put out in this spot. The Comeback Kid. Cool thing about this, it is a perennial, 4 different types of clover and some alfalfa in there, and it's going to keep on coming back 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. So if you want something that's throw it out and be done, you might not have to fool with that plot for a while, several years, this might be one you want to check out. And this jug ought to fit in my little seed thing here, I believe. Yep. And what does this say, this one? Half an acre. I tend to put it on pretty thick, but I'm gonna spread this seed out all over this spot right here. All right, guys, there you have it. My spring food plot in the woods plots. Real easy. You can get as complicated or not complicated as you want. If you don't have a rake or a spreader or some bolt cutters, you could literally just get this stuff and throw it out by hand if you really wanted to. But the more seed you get on the dirt, the better food plots you're going to have. So I was out here 3.5 hours putting these 4 separate little mini plots in out in the woods. Like I said, you need dirt and sunshine and water. So we got rid of some of the competition plants, opened up a little bit more canopy today. We got a pretty good rain coming here in about 5 or 6 hours, and got a bunch of seeds touching the dirt. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed. We got some more planting to do out in some more pasture type scenarios where we're not in the woods. So you don't want to miss any of that. I'm looking around for critters, but make sure you're subscribed. We're going to check in on these plots here, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, at least every month or so, just because I know y'all want to see it. But appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned. If you want to check out Domain Seeds, they've got a really good website that'll help you pick out what might be good to plant where you live. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next one. Hoo-doo.